Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and I guess this is me welcoming myself back as well. Obviously, I'm not good at this consistency thing. Before it would just be busyness or just other focus on other things. This inconsistency for this long of a period since my last video, it was definitely a bigger reason behind the inconsistency. So in August, me and my ex that I was with broke up. So, obviously you're dealing with a breakup, you have yourself space to heal. And about a couple weeks after, literally the day I was flying out to Seattle, I found out that my first love from high school had passed over a drug overdose, which was heartbreaking for me. But as I was in Seattle, it was just intense. I think that was when we were undergoing the Pisces full moon, I believe. And it was a very spiritual experience for me being out there and just visiting my aunt. I was going through that, and then I think I had my trip to Cabo. So, this is a fun trip. This is a time for me to have, a great time. And that was kind of like a break from reality. And I get back and I had to deal with the move. So I moved into a new apartment. And then I think after I got back from Cabo, I just got like super depressive. And I didn't understand what was going on with me. Didn't understand my emotions. And it was just like extremely depressive. And I went to, I go to my shaman that I go get my readings from. And she basically explained to me that I was undergoing the dark night of the soul. And that happened after I met, my twin flame, and that whole relationship dynamic about bringing out, the deepest roots of who you are and bringing them to the light and shining light on what still needs to be healed. And, what patterns and habits do you still have to break? Like meeting my twin energetically and then the physical really fucked me up. And then as that happened, I'm undergoing the dark night of the soul, which is something that I still don't really understand what it is. I don't really know how to explain it, but it just feels like fucking hell. It's literally the most painful shit spiritually to undergo. It's a constant question of who am I? What is my purpose? What is my worth? What are my values and morals? And it just brings out a floodgate of emotions and just literally nights and nights of crying every time I would get home from work, and just emotions that contemplating is life and is this existence even worth going through? And is it worth being here and, going through just the human experience in general? Being spiritual, it's such a hard thing, and people think it's all love and light, and it can be. But the reality of it is it's not. When you're really doing the work, and really doing the work, you're actually healing yourself, you're doing your meditations, you're doing your cleanses or your fasts, and you're doing your salt baths and all of the energetic things. You're breaking down your patterns and finding the root of each issue as to why you are the way you are and why you do the things you do. That shit's hard because it requires you to be honest with yourself. It requires you to be transparent and vulnerable with yourself so that you can do that for others. But it's a constant question of is this even worth it? Because the human experience is by far the most painful shit. Just losing people is painful. Losing aspects of yourself that you try to get back is hard. Detaching, like that was a huge thing that I had to learn with my twin. And then also my sister moved, who's my best friend. You know, she moved with her husband. So that was another thing, learning how to detach, because I realized that I was so codependent on relationships to make me happy and to give me meaning in life. Because, you know, as a Capricorn, we want to parent every fucking buddy, and we just want to take care of everybody and, you know, just be the role model for people. But, you know, having all of that taken away from me, it was like, fuck, I just need to learn how to detach. And that was like the hardest lesson for me, is to detach from other humans, you know, and learning to actually live for myself and be my own motivation and be my own happiness and be my own source of love, because there was no external person to give it to me anymore. So it was just literally the most painful shit I've ever been through. And, you know, after my birthday, I feel like that's when it was like, all right, we're getting to like the end of the tunnel. We're getting to the end of the darkness. And then I lost my dad. And I'm not one to sit here and be vulnerable with people that I don't know on an emotional level like this. But Spirit's been just like on my ass, because I don't know who this is meant for, or who it's supposed to help on their own journey, or who it's supposed to inspire, but they just kept pushing me to be this vulnerable and this transparent with other people. And literally thinking about doing this video the whole entire time, like every single day, just thinking of the words to say would just make me cry. Like, oh my gosh, like thinking about how terrifying it is to sit here and just express all these hardships that I've underwent and all this loss that I've experienced. But something about it, like, just they just wanted me to explain it. And I also felt like, you know, I couldn't come back to YouTube videos or start doing my YouTube videos without some form of explanation as to why it's taken me this long to get back on my shit, or to start finding that inspiration or motivation again to do them. But yeah, losing my dad was really hard. Like, I feel like at first it didn't really hit me. Like, it was just a shock factor. And, you know, spiritually, I've made sense of it. You know, spiritually, I see things from a higher perspective when we experience losing a loved one. But the human part of me, I just lost my dad. Like my foundation, my father figure, like, just, it nothing made sense. Like, it was just shock. It was just pure shock. And it just happened so suddenly. And, you know, I feel like the inner child in me was like, damn, like, I just lost somebody that I've looked up to my whole entire life. You know, my favorite color is blue because of him. I'm a fucking nerd for Star Wars and Star Trek and Marvel because of him. We used to watch NASCAR every Sunday. You know, my favorite race car driver was Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Dale Earnhardt because his was. You know, there was just so many things that I picked up because I wanted to be like my dad. And, you know, one of our last conversations was him explaining to me, like, the material shit doesn't matter, Cheyenne. Like, it doesn't fucking matter. What matters is your family and your friends. And, you know, I didn't really understand that he was content with the way he lived. He was content with his lifestyle, and he didn't have much to show for it. He wasn't rich. He didn't, you know, have any materialistic aspects. But, you know, he had love. He was himself. He never tried to be anything else. But, you know, growing up, I just feel like it got to a point where he couldn't parent me anymore. And that was one of our last conversations, because I felt, you know, his solution to one of my issues was basically just run from your problems and start over. And I explained to him, like, that's not the solution to anything. Not just running away from your problems and just starting fresh. Like, that's not the way to do it. The way to do it is by staying down and fucking doing what you need to do to get to where you want to go. And me, I'm supposed to be doing more. I know that I'm supposed to be going harder than I have been. And I mean, I have internally. And like I said, like through the dark night of the soul, through the healing of all that passing and loss, like, it's a lot of fucking work and it takes a lot of energy to do it. I feel like this is the part that needed to be the breakthrough for me, to talk about this, to express this, to be, like I said, vulnerable and transparent about all of it. Because there's something out of it. Like, there has to be, you know, you can't give out to the universe without receiving. You can't take something and not replace it with something. So I don't know what the universe is trying to get me to, or what level is next, but I just know that I have to listen to what they tell me. And I know that I have to share shit, as fucking terrifying as it is. And as, I think that's the only word to explain it. It's terrifying being this vulnerable. It's terrifying showing these emotions. It's scary because you fear judgment of other people. You care what other people think. But it's about making your way through that and getting past that judgment or fear of what others may think, and just expressing yourself. You know, I was never the type to be like, why the fuck these people crying online? But like I said, I have to do what spirit wants me to do. And like, just the throat blockages that I was experiencing after my dad's wake was fucking crazy, just because they wanted me to express it all. And like, speaking at my dad's wake and just standing in front of all these people, you know, some faces that were familiar, some that I had no idea of who they were, was terrifying as well. Yeah, losing a parent, I think it's something that I've still been processing, and I feel like I've just been at a state of kind of confusion since then. So I really haven't been on social media like that. And I feel like the confusion stems from like our last conversation, and just, you know, knowing that I'm supposed to be doing more, but it's like, how to get there, where to go, what avenues am I supposed to be venturing down? Because I have a habit of, you know, putting my energy here and there and here and there and never completing anything. So it's like, okay, so what am I supposed to be completing? Because you have all these lanes and avenues to choose from, and you can do all of them, but you got to put in the work. You got to, you know, do the studying. You have to do the internal work and the external work as well. You have to match and meet the universe halfway. So I don't know, but that shit is not fun and not easy. And to whoever else has lost a parent or a loved one out there, I feel for you. My heart goes out to you, because that is probably the most difficult thing that you can experience. And just know that, like, they're always with you. No matter what you're going through, they're always watching over you. They're always going to be proud of you, no matter what decisions you make in life. And yeah, I think that's about all I have to say on that. But there is a next chapter. I thank everybody that's been on this journey with me. And yeah, thank you for letting me share this vulnerability with you, and letting me express myself in my journey thus far. So yeah, thank you.